Hi guys, and welcome back to today's video. I hope you guys are all doing great. As you can tell from the title down below, today I'm going to be sharing with you my family's favorite read aloud books. And these are all books that my kids have absolutely been loving. We have read all of them. What are you doing, Madeline? We have read all of them except for two, and I'll show you what two those are. We've kind of added them into another series that we have had previously and that my kids have loved. But the two things that all these books have in common, the first one is that they are all nature themed and nature related, so they all have to do with animals because that is just something that my kids love. They love learning about, and the characters and different stories and everything like that have animals in them. They're just 100% about it. So I try to have most of our books be about animals. Oh my goodness, did you just dump out your little snack? But yeah, so everything is about animals and nature and things like that. And the second thing that they all have in common is we do have a Charlotte Mason type homeschool in our home. And so all of these are living books, or should I say they classified as living books. But these are all about just these different animals and their character, and yeah, we just have learned a lot about them. And then I do have a couple different character books that I'm going to share as well, apart from like the nature and things like that. But yeah, I do hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will mention as well that this video is a collaboration with Megan from Pennies and Salt, so be sure to go check her channel out and watch her video on her favorites as well. And then I will also list the playlist of a whole bunch of other mamas sharing their favorite read-alouds as well. And I'm actually really excited to go and watch those because I am actually looking for more read-alouds to add into our homeschool, since doing a read aloud every morning and in the afternoon, or really whenever I'm sitting down either feeding the baby or something like that, I do like to read to the kiddos. They learn a lot even when we don't think they're listening. They learn a lot. So yes, that's what we're going to be doing today. I hope you guys enjoy, and as always, if you do, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and let's get into it. The first series that I wanted to share with you, we just finished a Black Bear story. This will take you on a fantastic adventure with the black bears, and just the story and how they live, what their den life is like, the relationship between the mama and the baby cubs, the ways that she protects them and everything like that. But it's not only a really sweet story, like all the bears will have names, they're all like characters in the story. It's a beautiful story, but you learn so much about just bears in general, like their habitat, just everything. And then the other one that we really like from this old homestead tales is the Bluebirds and Their Neighbor. Again, it's about Mr. Bluebird flying away. He's trying to find a new home for his family. And along with the bluebirds, you have the woodpeckers, you have the owls, you have the rabbits. You have like all these characters come together, and you learn all about their different homes, as well as just like being submersed into their day-to-day life in a story. It's just really sweet. And then actually there's 3 new ones. Yeah, there's 3 other ones that I got from this series as well. The first one, and this is the one that Oliver actually really wants to do next, and it's the Beaver story. I'm actually not sure if there's more than 5 that I'm showing you, but the last one is Wild Creatures in Winter. So these are the 3 brand new ones that we haven't read, but if they are anything like these 2, I know that I'm going to love them probably as much, if not more, than the kids, because like I said, they are adventures, they are stories. It's really fun stories, and just being submersed into an animal's world. And like I said, that's what my kids love, on top of just learning so much about animals. So I would definitely recommend this series if your kiddos like animals as much as mine do. The next 2 that I have, these are the only 2 that I have from the Living Forest series. First one is Loony Coon. It's all about the mischievous and streetwise animal antics. And it's just a really funny. This is actually a really funny book too. It infuses humor, animals, like the story, the character, the mischievousness of raccoons, all into a really funny story. So my kiddos love this one. And then this one is called Sweet Sue's Adventures. Even skunks can teach life lessons. But yes, this is another really fun, sweet story as well. I highly recommend this. I believe there's 12 books in this series. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's 12 altogether. I would love to go ahead and pick up the other 9 or 10 of these, only because my kiddos have loved these. They laughed so much, especially during like the little skunk part, but they love these books. And yeah, I would definitely recommend this series if you can get a hold of them. The next 2 books, I believe there's 5 in this series, but I only have 2. I have the Christian Liberty Nature Readers, and again, 100% nature themed. This is the level K that I have, and then this is the book 1. In this one, I believe we learned about like the really small creatures. We learned about beetles and jellyfish and just all the things. But this one goes through the entire alphabet of animals. If you can see here, here's all the animals that you will learn about in this book. And every section you will have a little page about the animal. Then you'll have another 2 pages here. But yeah, and every animal will have 2 to 3 different things that you can learn about. And then their review at the end of every chapter. So it's almost like a little bit of a science curriculum in one. So it's a book, you get the illustrations, and then you get the review so that your child can actually recite what they learned back to you. So it's definitely very much Charlotte Mason inspired, Charlotte Mason themed. It's all about the animals, and again, the kids have to reiterate what they learned at the end of every at the end of every chapter. And then we have, like, you had the beetle in this one. But yeah, so you'll go through 26 different animals in a level K. And then the book 1, this one here, we learned about insects, honeybees, moths, and butterflies. And then the quote-unquote unlovable creatures, such as like the spiders, fleas, and ants, and things like that. But yeah, this is the exact same type of thing. You go through, like there's the honeybee chapter, you go through the different chapters, and then you go into like your review. And then this, as you see the advanced, the books advance, I believe there's K through, and then they have the 6th book. Yeah, there's 6 books, I believe. I'll have them linked down below, by the way, so you can check them out. But they get to be a little bit more detailed. So for example, you have the honeybees chapter, but then you also have a chapter about the beehive, and you have a chapter about a leaf cutter bee, then the cuckoo bee, then you had the carpenter bee. So it goes into more detail, and as you get more and more of these books, you will add more animals, more creatures into the collection. So by the time you have 5 or 6 of them, the knowledge that the kids have with all these different specimens and creatures and insects and everything, it's amazing. Like, we love these books. Highly recommend these. The last books that I'm going to mention that's actually part of a series, and I know there's a lot of you mamas that probably already know about these books, but these are my favorite books ever growing up. I loved these. I was homeschooled my entire life. If you didn't know that already, I'm a 2nd generation homeschooler, and these were just some of my favorites. I read them over and over again. And that's the Billy and Blaze series. My little boy loves these. For one, it is all about a horse, and he loves horses. But he loves the little boy in these stories because he relates to him a lot, because this little boy in these stories is just, his character is of very high value. He has very good character. He's very brave. He's courageous. And he's a very sweet little boy. The stories are just so sweet and innocent. And it teaches them courage, and it teaches them to have that adventurous spirit and to explore and go out and to be kind to animals and just all the things in one series. And so I love these, and I've also noticed with these specifically, he has a couple little play horses that him and his sister play with. Every single time we read one of these books, it doesn't matter which one it is, he will go get his horses and his imagination comes alive, and he'll just like go outside with his little horse and play for hours in the lawn. It really is like the sweetest thing. But yeah, if your kiddos have not read these, or if you're not familiar with them, out of all the books I mentioned, I would definitely recommend picking these up. The stories are just beautiful. We love these. The next book I'm going to share, and because my kiddos are in preschool and kindergarten, a lot of the books that we do read are technically read aloud books because they're not quite at the level where they can read just anything yet. They're still at kindergarten level. But this is Red Tag Comes Back. I've shared this before on my channel. I'm pretty sure I did anyway. And it's this one here. This is all about the salmon. You will learn everything about the salmon's life cycle. You will learn from where they lay their eggs to where they travel downstream to the ocean, and they go back to where they were born. It's a great story, and he knows everything about the salmon's life cycle, why they do what they do, the work of the salmon. And yeah, it's great. It's a great story. And if you don't know, I believe right now, I believe it's either now or happening soon, is the salmon run season in Alaska. So definitely try to look up on YouTube some different salmon run videos. It's incredible. It's incredible. I have a brother and sister-in-law. They live in Alaska, and they had the opportunity to go and actually watch bears during the salmon run, and it's beautiful. So definitely go, hi honey, definitely see if you can find some videos or something about that, because It's amazing. And then being able to watch the salmon run online, even some live streams of the bears and stuff doing salmon runs. What, honey? I don't know if there's any more, but you can see if there's more. But yes, I definitely recommend this one. My little guy loves this. The next 3 books I'm sure everybody knows about, but again, they were some of my favorites when I was little, and these are my kiddos' favorites as well. They've actually really have loved Charlotte's Web. This is actually a larger edition, but they've loved this book forever. We actually read this book to them when they were a lot younger. I just had like a little flip-through book of it, and they love the story. One of my favorite things about Charlotte's Web in particular is it teaches compassion. And being able to be compassionate for somebody, to bring someone up with you, even when you may be different from them. The whole barnyard full of animals, everyone is so different, yet everyone is just so kind. And then you have like the bad attitudes, like Templeton the rat and things like that. But there's just so many things that they can learn from it, either like how not to be, as far as like the attitudes of Templeton, or just the beautiful friendship as well that it portrays between Charlotte and Wilbur. And yeah, it's definitely a big classic and a big favorite in our home. And the overall story is just precious. I love this book. The last thing I'm going to share, I'm saving it for last because it's not really animal related, and that is the Miller series. This one in particular is called Storytime with the Millers. And in this book in particular, the kids learned respect, responsibility, obedience, kindness, and humility. Amos and his brothers learn a valuable lesson about returning good for evil. Paul, a 3-year-old farm boy, nearly loses his life through disobedience. And Betty learns the hard way that being bossy is not much fun. So it's just a really fun little character building story. I believe there's 5 or 6 more in this series, but they're all about just really sweet, innocent, fun stories that all teach about character. And so it's really one of those books that you don't have to necessarily sit your kids down and be like, okay, well, this is how we act, this is how we don't act. But reading a story that actually makes the words obedience and kindness and gentleness come to life, the whole fruit of the Spirit come to life, and actually having them come to life in a story form is really, really special for the kiddos. And you're not just saying, hey, this is what it means to be kind, this is what it means to obey. They can actually see it kind of come alive in books like this. So we actually really like this series. I would highly recommend these if you're looking for some character building books for your kiddos. Well guys, that is all I'm going to share with you today. I actually had a harder time making this video because I wanted to share like all the books because we have a lot of favorites. Most everything on our shelf is what I would consider a favorite because the reason why we still have it is because we love it. So anyway, I do hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And as always, if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and be sure to go down below and click that playlist and watch other mamas share their favorites. And until our next video, you guys stay safe and God bless. Bye!